At the special chess exhibition, world champion Akira Kato plays chess against a computer known as the Super Blue in the opening scene. Super Blue can calculate up to 200 million moves per second, while Akira's brain can only calculate 3 moves per second. Although it seems unlikely that Akira will win, he will be the first player in history to lose to a computer. He is clearly struggling even though the intense game is going on. He finally gives up his king and accepts defeat. Nobody can believe that the world's best chess player, who has never lost a match, just lost to a computer. The room goes quiet. Akira is unable to process what just happened and sits with his head down. While the audience laughs and reporters snap pictures of a humiliated former grand world champion, the host mocks him. In rage, Akira smashes the chessboard in half. The incident occurred 3 years ago. Akira stopped playing chess after the last match, and he hasn't been seen since. In the next scene, we see a lot of people who are homeless sitting on the side of the road in the cold morning. One of them is Akira, who lives on the streets after gambling and drinking up all of his money. 2 men in black suits get out of a fancy car that stops in front of them. Akira is forcefully taken by them and driven away. He is taken to a mansion, where a wealthy elderly man greets him. It is surprising that the man admits to knowing who Akira is, given that he has completely changed his name and identity. The man replies that it has no bearing on who he is when Akira inquires about him. He essentially needs to play a round of chess with Akira. Akira almost vomits when he shows a chessboard on the table. He regains composure and makes an excuse, but the truth is that at this point in his life, the thought of playing chess makes him sick. He is unable to look at the chessboard, so he turns away. The elderly man claims that he bet a lot on Akira's most recent match and lost a lot of money. The man wants Akira to play a game to make up for the loss since he has nothing at all. While Akira isn't sure what the man really wants, he is aware that he doesn't want to do business with him. He tells the man bluntly that he no longer plays chess and does not want to be a millionaire's plaything to get out of the situation. The man takes Akira's king and declares that he has lost without even playing. Akira is furious because this brings back memories of his previous defeat. He pulls the man over and demands that he move his pawn in its place. Fulfilled that he has at last convinced Akira, the elderly person plays his turn. Akira, on the other hand, refuses to move toward the chessboard or touch any of the pieces. He tells the man to move all of his pieces without looking, confident that he will still win the game. We notice that the elderly person is wearing an earpiece and conversing with somebody while playing. Akira walks to the window and sees a group of men facing each other downstairs, dressed in white and black. The pattern that they are standing in is identical to the pattern that is currently on the chessboard. The man who was acting in the pawn's place is stabbed and killed as the old man kills one of his pawns in the game. At what he just saw, Akira freezes in shock. He inquires of the man as to whether this is a joke. Since the pawns are just soldiers, the man says, he shouldn't be sad about one dying. Akira finds the dead person on the ground, while the other players remain still as he runs downstairs to examine the body for himself. He removes the blade from the man's body and sees that he is as yet alive. The man smiles and asks Akira what his next move is, even though he is close to death. Akira is left with a knife and a body in the middle of the street after the man takes his last breath. The players around him then leave. He is in that position, so a woman believes he killed the person. Akira runs away in panic, claiming that it wasn't him. He is at the office of his former physician, Seiichi Tomoda, in the following scene. After so many years, the doctor is surprised to see him. For the past 3 years, he and Akira's wife Kumi Kato have been looking for him. We see in a flashback from 3 years ago that Akira had given up on life after losing the game with Super Blue. He once had nightmares in which chess pieces were attempting to kill him. His health was made even worse by the hallucinations that developed from the nightmares. His wife was his queen, and he had always compared his life to a game of chess. As a result, he left his queen after losing the match because he believed he no longer deserved her. Akira tells the doctor about the earlier incident and suggests that he see a psychiatrist. Akira insists that what he saw was real, despite the doctor's assumption that he dreamed of the man being killed. His mind is still fragile, so the doctor tells him to rest at home. After that, a paper is printed by itself from a printer in the doctor's cabin. "What is your next move?" is written in the paper. The chess match that Akira started that morning is still going on, he realizes. He yells that he wants to move his pawn to the e3 position. The doctor then opens a book to discover that the pages have been transformed into a chessboard. The old man's queen kills Akira's knight next. The printer prints another document. Dr. Tomoda happens to be the knight. He passes out blood and dies right away. When Akira discovers on the wall a picture of the doctor riding a horse, implying that the doctor was his knight, he is shocked. Akira thinks the coffee was drugged because the cup he was drinking from earlier also had a chessboard pattern on it. While observing them through the door, a nurse does nothing to save the doctor. She enters after he has passed away and inquires about Akira's next move. When Akira spots a young child holding a drawing depicting the current chessboard layout, he runs outside in fear. When he asks Akira the same question, it is abundantly clear that he is also involved in the game. In response, Akira says that he wants to move the king to e2. Akira flees in the opposite direction when the kid tells him that the king will die. He begins to experience hallucinations of chess pieces attempting to kill him after seeing people who have died as a result of the game. He gets to a parking lot where the cars have been parked in the shape of a chessboard as he runs away. He attempts to start the car that is supposed to be the bishop without his knowledge. However, the car only moves diagonally, much like a bishop in chess. He changes into the car that represents the rook after leaving that one alone. Because it is the opponent's turn to play, the car does not start. His rook was killed when the rook from the opposite side crashed into his car. Akira then visits his previous residence, where he discovers that it is for sale. His actual residence was the Rook, also known as the castle. Akira realizes that his wife Kumi is the queen and that her life is in danger now that he knows how to play real-life chess. He returns to the elderly man's house and asks for his wife, claiming that he wants to stop playing the game. However, to put an end to the game, the old man requests that Akira accept his defeat and remove his king. Akira is once more brought back to the humiliation he endured after losing to the Super Blue by this. He asks the old man to move his king forward and keeps playing the game with determination. The majority of their pieces are gone after the game lasts a long time. The old man cannot save his king, and Akira is just 2 steps away from winning the game. However, 2 suit-clad men forcefully remove him before he can play his turn. The old man and Akira are in a stadium with a life-size chessboard in the middle in the next scene. The people represented by the chess pieces are those who will perish from a single error. According to the old man, their situation is comparable to that of an Arabian king who used to play chess with his prisoners and then promptly killed them. Because the players sometimes have to sacrifice their own pieces in order to win, he claims that chess is an emotionless game. Akira must move a knight to checkmate in order to win the game. The old man, on the other hand, will kill his queen if he does that. Akira notices when he turns around that the queen is actually his wife Kumi, who has been tied and held against her will. She shakes her head, weeping, and begs Akira to save her. Akira now has the option of winning the game or losing his wife for good. A sniper fires close to his legs to warn him that moving will result in his death as he tries to escape his box and stop the man. He is once more confronted by the elderly man, who asks him if he wants to accept his defeat or sacrifice the queen. He adds that a genuine champion would act in accordance with the rules and think logically. However, Akira orders them to immediately save the queen. He values his wife more than winning a match. Everybody is stunned at his choice. Accepting his defeat, he moves in front of her and spreads his hands. The opposing knight approaches him and stabs him with a knife. Akira finally collapses to the ground. However, the elderly man thanks him with a smile and claps when he passes away. Suddenly, Kumi frees her hands. She looks at her husband's body with a smile, clearly happy about what just happened. Surprisingly, the man who passed away in the first round, the doctor, the nurse, and everyone else Akira met during the game show up at the arena clapping for him. Akira then gets up from the ground, perplexed as to why he is not experiencing any pain. He was stabbed with a fake knife, it turns out. After that, it becomes clear that the game was a ruse to force Akira back into playing chess and get him out of his depressive episode. Since losing the previous match against Super Blue, his mental state had deteriorated. As a result, the doctor, Kumi, and the elderly man orchestrated the entire game as part of shock therapy to aid in his recovery. Super Blue was actually created by the elderly man. He was not pleased that his creation had stopped Akira from playing chess. He therefore organized and funded the game to correct his error. Akira was playing with Super Blue the entire time, who was responding to the elderly man through his earpiece. The man reveals that the computer malfunctioned because it was unable to comprehend Akira's selfless act, indicating that he has finally prevailed over the Super Blue in a game. As the movie comes to a close, everyone claps for Akira and his wife as they hug. Turn on the notification, subscribe for more videos like this one, and like the channel to help out. I appreciate your viewing.